Hello everyone, this is Tom again with another tutorial for the App Starter Stack. In this tutorial, we're gonna take a look at right-click menus. So let's have a look at an example of what we mean here. This navigation item has a right-click hover menu. Or no, this is a hover menu, it's not a right-click menu, but it's the same mechanism as the right-click menu over here. So hover menu, right-click menu, same mechanism. So let's look at what that mechanism is. And we're gonna start by looking at the start here stack and the boot right-click menu handler. So in this handler, you see a familiar code structure of a block that defines something specific. In this case, it's our right-click menu items. So a right-click menu item has an ID, it has a label, it has a command, which is the name of the handler that will run when the button is clicked. It has a what to do after the button is clicked. It has a horizontal size parameter, and that's 95% of its owner. That's what this means. This is our familiar convention used all throughout the App Starter stack. And then the second line of this size value is 60 pixels. That's easy to understand as well. And then this is the alignment of the button within the right-click menu, so it's centered. And then we use the material design color naming convention, gray 50 for the color of the button, and that's this button over here. I failed to change the icon for it in the example, but that's okay. We would just change the icon in here. I don't know what the preset is called, so I'm not going to bother with that right now. But this is how a right-click menu is defined. So then once you define this block for your right-click menu item, you can obviously copy and paste it and duplicate it and just make tweaks to create similar looking buttons. And then once you have your buttons defined, they will be loaded as the stack boots up. So you could, I guess, just at some point save your work and restart the stack before you test it, or just run this handler whenever you update it. It doesn't matter. So let's learn where to put the code for our commands. So this button, the create an account button, will run this command, this handler, and this handler lives inside the actual group of the right-click menu or the hover menu. The right-click menu and the hover menu are the same. So here you see that the handlers in this script are divided up into two sections. The ones below this line, they are handlers that are needed for the menu to update itself and to position itself. So I would not recommend changing this at all, but all of your commands that you create for your right-click menu go into this upper part of this script, and one by one you just create the handler that you need, that you defined right here. You create the handler, and then that's the handler that will run when the button is clicked. So that's the long and short of it. Let's now learn how to create hover menus for navigation items, shall we? So let's go to the start here stack, and let's go to the menu definitions this time, and we're going to look at the demo navigation items, which is these, and we're going to look at the account one. So let's go look. Examples and then user account. So here we have an extra parameter at the end of our definition block, and here we put the commands that we want in the hover menu to show up when we hover over it. And this is super easy to understand. So add this to any of these items that you created on your own. Add this line to the end of it, and then that will be its hover menu. And then these again are the button IDs that are defined right over here. Sometimes the button ID and the command will match, and that's your business how you want to name your stuff. But the ID is important, and also the command is important because that is what runs. So I believe, I almost forgot. Wow, we almost skipped a very important part. So how do we trigger a right-click command? Let me just grab a drink here. How do we trigger a right-click command? Let's look at this as an example because we have a right-click menu here. So what we do is we write one line of code. And in this case, this is the line of code. Let's just copy it out of here and let's paste it in a line of its own so we can kind of have a look at everything that's here. So as complex as this looks, all we're doing is we're sending a message to the right-click menu. See, to group right-click menu, and the message consists of a variable. This is the name of the message, refresh menu. This is the first variable, the first parameter, and that's no data. And here you can put whatever information you want to pass to the menu. In this case, I really don't need to pass any information except to say which buttons are there to be displayed in this right-click menu. And in this right-click menu, all we have is the read out loud button and the cancel button, which are concatenated as strings separated by commas. And there's many different ways of writing this. You can use dispatch as well. So you can go dispatch refresh menu to group right click menu with, and then your parameters. So the first button would be button 1, and then second one would be button 2, and then whatever you want your buttons to be, whatever your buttons are. And then if you want to put a cancel button at the end of it to give a person the option to close the menu, that's cool too. If you don't do that, then I will just create like some triggers in some areas of the stack that when people hover over it, the menu will disappear. Like for example, if you're on a hover menu and you hover over another item, the menu will disappear. So the cancel is not necessary to be included in the menu. So I think that's it about the buttons. Oh, one last thing. The reason why I prefer to use the send method to trigger the refresh menu command is because I want this command to not run within a handler. So in the actual code, we have this in this handler. So I actually want this handler to finish before this is sent, and this mostly has to do with the data grid. You can't update a grid if there is a script running inside of it still. So for that reason, we're using the send command, and actually at the end here we need to say in 0 milliseconds. And then that way this handler will finish before this message is sent. So I hope I made that clear. I kind of jumbled it a bit there, but anyways, I hope this was informative, and I hope you enjoyed learning about this aspect of the App Starter Stack. Join me for another tutorial, and hit like and subscribe. I guess that's what all the YouTubers say. So anyways, thank you. Oh no, they say Smash like and hit subscribe. Thank you. Bye.